All right. Oh, they can. Oh. Okay. I need to move back, move my microphone forward because that's very loud apparently. Welcome everybody to Legendary Tales. We're on episode 49, and I believe that we have a very short recap because a lot of stuff happened, but at the same time, not a lot of stuff happened last week. So if someone wants to do a quick recap real fast, well, that's great.
This is your Discord, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I just noticed that. I'm just talking to my friend Travis. I need to do a new window. I'll show you my cool Star Wars background for the time being. You can watch that for a bit.
I like that cool Star Wars background.
It is pretty sick though, right?
Is it animated too?
It is animated. It's dope, right? Let's do... Okay, so this should bring us to this now. And I'm missing my main Discord window now because I just closed it like a dumb guy doing dumb guy stuff. There we go. Okay, that will load in a second. Day, you have a recap for us?
Discord.
I am missing every single one of my spells.
You're missing all of your spells?
All of my spells.
Oh, sheesh.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
that's a fun one because that took me quite a while to set up too.
They're all gone.
I could.
Oh
yeah,
my
they are
god.
all gone.
Okay.
I mean, we could just play as if I don't know what buttons are.
I mean, is that not the way you play anyway? Close
Yeah.
that. Set up this. Do a thing. Boop.
Okay. Anyway, the very short recap of what happened. So the session prior to our last session, I was noisy in a hallway. Woke up Yvonne. He came out of the doorway and said, "Oh, hi, Red Rep." Then we cut.
Oh,
We were
hi.
gone for what seemed like a year. Who knows? How long were we on hiatus? A decade? Fuck. Anyway, when we came back, we went directly into a fight with Yvonne, more or less. There was a lot of chit chat, a lot of back and forth, a lot of negotiating. Then we threw a banshee and a bottle at him. Then shit like really kicked off. There was some shotgunning, some burning down the inn. There was hammer facing and burning. I feel like Lorchik, did you do the thing where you were breathing fire again?
He did that. He did that a few times, right?
He did that a few
Breathe
times.
fire right on his crotch.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
there was a lot
that's
of
right. He got stabbed in the dick.
there's a lot
I
of
remember that
penis centric damage.
now. Shotgun to the back, but also stabbed in the dick. Yeah. So then he summoned Void's. I believe it was Void's champion. It said Void on the Okay. So Void's champion turned up on his 8-legged spider horse. Does whatever a horse spider can. And it swung a sword around a little bit and gave Lorchik pixel disease. Lorchik is now infected with pixel disease because we did manage to escape and get back to the warbands, but he is slowly being turned into a low-res version of himself fit for an 8-bit game about, I don't know, surviving a vampire horde in the middle of a forest or something. Rep is chain healing to try and prevent that. That's about it. That's where we left off.
According to this, my microphone is very noisy, so hold on. Okay, I think I fixed it. Thank
Your
God.
cable's too strong.
Yeah, and it was just really bad. Yeah, that's where we're at. Basically, everyone in the war bands has now grouped together. They found literally almost all the healers, and they're all taking turns healing Lorchik as this sort of disease that is wasting away at his flesh is now basically just eating him alive. Kuzma has gone into rituals in his area, smoking a bunch and trying to figure out how to counteract this sort of entropic mess that's happened to Lorchik after getting stabbed twice. Sabis is looking around, looking at Vidar, wondering, like, there's an itching feeling in the back of your mind going, I know who this is, but at the same time, nothing. Because the champion of Void looked at you and was like, you're not allowed to have this anymore. And it's very disconcerting. Are you doing anything about that, Sabis?
Sabis is gonna walk out to Bear and go, Who are you? I feel like I should know you.
You must have taken quite the blow to the head.
So I'm just gonna get hurt.
Uh-oh, my internet pooped. Oh, uh-oh. Okay, I think my internet? Nope.
No,
Nope.
we're still here. We can hear you.
Okay. For me a second. Hold on. Okay, it looks like my internet's back. I'm good. What did you do, Sabas? All I heard was
Yeah. Sarah's just like patting her head and is like, "No, I don't think I got hurt. Do you
So
know
you-
me?"
So you remember being at the inn, and you remember finding the Soulforged down the
Yeah.
road after we started fighting Yvonne.
Yeah. No, I'm very well aware. I mean, Loreshik over there is not having a great fucking time, but I don't think I can help with that.
And you don't remember my involvement in these things at all.
No. I. Who the hell are you?
Vidar is just going to kind of shrug and then go to find Kuzma.
So you go into Kuzma's tent, and Kuzma is basically sitting there in a trance, like he was with Day and or with Technician and the previous people who have partaken in his ritual before, and he's basically deep in some sort of thing. Loreshik is laid out on one of the large covered, basically beds, and a huge amount of people are surrounding him, taking turns healing him to keep this sort of disease or whatever it is at bay. Loreshik, what are you doing?
Does it hurt?
No, your whatever parts that are it's affecting, as it like, because the actual black sort of pixelated mass shrinks and then starts expanding and shrinks and starts expanding again as these people continue to heal you over and over and over again. It's not like perpetually spreading past the healing. It never gets past a certain point past the healing. But whenever it does begin to spread again, those moments between heals, it just goes numb. Like, you got a head on your shoulder and the whole arm just goes limp when it does that, and then it comes back and it feels weird. It's like getting hit in the funny bone over and over and over again, except for your whole arm and the part of your chest that was slashed.
Got it. And I'm perpetually at max health. Okay. I'm just laid out with my arm kind of draped over where I'm laying, and who's around me?
Kuzma is a little bit farther away at the like fire pit area, but there's a handful of refugee healers, a bunch of Kuzma's people, a bunch of Cross and Grits people, like they're shamans and clerics and healer types.
Rep is still doing War of Vitality chain casting.
So. Yep.
He's within 30 feet of you.
I look over to Rep while I'm just laid out and say, Rep, if I die, don't let them like turn me into jerky, please.
Of course not. I would not allow them to turn you into jerky. I would ask that you allow me to recycle your parts. As you may recall from forever ago when we first met, I am big on recycling.
That's okay, as long as people aren't eating me. I just stare up at the sky, just wondering if I'm gonna die.
Vidar, you've come into Kuzma's tent and you've seen the situation. What are you doing?
I'm waiting for an opening to talk to Kuzma about the fact that Yvonne made threats against the Forge/Foundry.
As soon as you go and you sit down next to Kuzma, he sort of breaks out of his trance and he looks at you and he says, Yvonne made threats on the Forge.
Yes, he asked us if we knew where the other Soulforged were. And when we said that they were fine, he said he questioned us and implied that we were wrong.
I just heard from Orok this morning. So I don't think that he's made a move on them. I think he's just trying to rile you up. And I do have a mission for you, Sabis and Technician. I found a way to preserve Loershik's condition at the moment through the spirits. I know where the voice of Gleam is, and you need to go right now.
Alright.
Indeed, and we should also make plans for getting the new Soulforged to the father, brother, friend.
She
Question
needs
mark?
to be awakened. But
Yes.
you have to go to Siltheim. Which, coincidentally, is where you need to go to find the voice of Gleam. She was captured by Inquisitors.
Is
and-
this a task where we could bring the Soulforged with us, or should we make it 2 separate trips?
You should bring the Soulforge with you.
I would propose that we awaken her first. That way she is less at risk.
Kuzma stands up with his cane and dusts his front off of the ash that's on him. He looks back at Lorshik. Lorshik, I'm going to make a potion for you.
I love potions.
I'm letting you
Don't get
know
any trouble ever.
it's going to taste terrible, but I want you to live. So,
How far away from the Renault's rations am I? Can I yell and have Emerald hear me?
yeah, easily, yeah.
Emerald, meat.
A few moments later, Emerald comes in with literally like a backpack full of like jerky, and like he actually has like in his hands just holding it. He doesn't have it in a plate. He literally has like a big like pork shoulder. He's literally holding like a smoked pork shoulder that is very visibly steaming while like wincing himself, and he's like, I didn't think I just brought it. And he runs over, and there's like a small like tray of like incense burners and stuff like that, and he literally just knocks everything off of the tray and slaps the pork shoulder on the ground onto the tray, drops the backpack, looks at his hands, and goes and he looks at Technician, and he's like, and he just puts his hands out. His hands are very clearly like first degree burns on his hands from like the blazing hot pork shoulder.
Oh, I was focused on this. Here. Be not burned. Be less burned.
And he's just like, oh, thank you. Do you need anything else, son?
No, I'm good. I grabbed the potion from Kuzma.
Yep.
Take 2 pieces of jerky out of the backpack. I line them on my tongue, and then pour the potion across the jerky to get it to my throat. How bad is it?
It's not so much the taste, but the consistency that's the issue. If you were to take crystallized honey and then you put about an ounce or 2 of pine tar into it, that's the flavor and consistency. The problem is that it's gritty and it takes forever.
What does pine tar taste like? I don't usually go and lick trees.
Pine.
Pine is usually very, very, very tart. And
So matcha.
actually, yeah, it's close to matcha, I would say.
I cough endlessly while trying to force it down, and I'm taking bites out of this freshly baked shoulder to try to just get it to go down faster.
And Kuzma looks at you after you down the potion, and he said, there's going to be a side effect of the potion. This essentially has locked
So
you.
now you tell me?
Yes, because I want you to stay alive. Okay? For now. The problem is if you go into combat and you take damage, right now you will be locked in a state where the damage will not affect you until the potion wears off. Then you get hit with all of it at the same time. So,
Understood.
be careful.
How long does the potion last, Kuzma?
1 day.
Kuzma, do you have any idea how does the healing also wait? Like if I take a hit and then technician heals me and then I take another hit, will that get applied in order when the potion wears off? Okay. So nothing is different except for I won't feel the pain until a sudden rush of pain, happiness, pain, happiness. Okay.
And
That
in
sounds
in
right.
most cases, hopefully the healing outweighs the pain.
Look over at technician. Yeah, hopefully. We'll see.
I am much better at pain than I am at healing.
That is
Do we have any big health potions like that I could bring just in case?
And he goes into his like bookshelf, his like shelf in the back of his tent, and he hands you 3 supreme healing potions.
Thank you, Kuzma.
You're welcome.
Do I still have like the particle effect on me?
Except it has like
Oh,
a
yeah,
very
cool.
it has like a light blue line, like a cerulean line that like is over it, that it literally is essentially, it was like a roiling mass of like all these colored pixels and stuff like that, but now it's like frozen in time. It sort of looks like there's something keeping all of your stuff at bay. So like literally anything that was affecting you beforehand is sort of like frozen in a specific moment. Shortly after that, one of the blacksmiths brings you a suit, basically a breastplate, to cover up all your stuff. So effectively, instead of having full plate mail, you only have a breastplate right now, because plate mail has to be custom made for everybody or modified to be for that person. So you effectively just have a breastplate right now, and if technician wants to use a infusion to make it a +2, you can give yourself, actually, you know what? I'll just give you a +2 breastplate, because I know technician's going to do that, right? Am I assuming
Yep.
I
correctly?
think I already have one.
You
It's
are.
just not equipped.
A +2 breastplate? You have a plate +2. You need a breastplate +2. So let me get you that.
Oh.
Does anyone
That plate +2 has breasts.
that
It does. This is true.
this is true.
You keep full rations in there.
You could keep meat in your breast pockets.
I mean, you could keep your gold in there too, but that's a little passe, don't you think? That's just like, here you go.
Nobody wants that.
It's- no,
nobody
nobody
wants.
wants that.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants the titty gold.
No, they don't. Equip. I've added a breastplate +2 and equipped it for you. You didn't miss much, Fred. They gave Lorishik a potion that freezes him in time, that any damage he takes and healing he takes will be done all at the same time as soon as the potion ends. And then they have a mission to go to Siltheim to find the Voice of Gleam to potentially save Lorishik. So this is just to keep him alive for the time being. What would you guys like to do now? I'm just wondering if I need to ask any questions before you guys get ready to go. Or if you guys are ready to go right now.
I do kind of want to check in on the forge.
I also do need to verify my own facts that her Soulforger is in fact in Siltheim, because I'm not sure. I have so much lore in my head right now that I could be wrong.
I thought hers was the one in the warbands.
No, Torgair's was in the warbands.
All right.
Sjur, S-J-U-R is her name, by the way. Sjur is in Siltheim, according to my stats. Because Draugs was in Nilhund, Chestelet was in the Crag, Vizim was in Verdengard, and then Ziriel was in Artstadt. Right? Yes. At least that's what I have in my notes. So I just wanted to verify. Okay. And you're looking for the friend. Is who you're looking for. Oh, Sabas, I assume you're outside. What are you doing right now?
Um, can't heal. Can't really do anything. Savis is gonna go to Zoya and try and ask why she can't remember this weird, shiny person walking around, even listening to remember her.
Zoya is actually just chilling outside. She's sort of like waiting for Loershik to come out or to go in because she takes up a lot of room, so she doesn't want to go in there and just be in the way of everything. Kuzma's tent is not particularly that big. You see Emerald run in with literally just a thing. He out of a smoker, he pulls like this giant slab of meat, runs, and he comes back outside just looking at his hands. He looks at you and he says, "Oh, Sabbath, I went back to the place because I noticed when you came back that no one had what you needed or something. Someone said something to each other. And I went back and I grabbed these for you." And he goes into a small drawer in the meat stand and he pulls out a leather like wrapping wrapped around something, and he hands it to you. Give one of these, take one and give one to each of your party members. You're going to need it.
Okay.
And then shortly after that, you just sort of have this wrapping thing wrapped up like something in your hands. Zoya comes up to you and you ask her how you're missing these things, and she sort of does a little magic spell. If you want to make an Arcana check, you can see what spell she's casting.
Yeah, that's fine. Savage trusts her, doesn't need to figure it out.
And she touches your forehead, and she sort of has this sort of strange vision, brings you back into it, and you're actively fighting, right? You're looking at stuff. You're trying to break up the ceiling tiles. You look at them starting to. It basically goes over that whole battle, and you see Vidar, and you see yourself interacting with him, and again you feel weird. And then the champion of Void rolls over, like rides over really fast, points the sword at you, and you see this beam of pixelated black mass Void hit you in the head. And then that's the moment that you realize that all that information was drawn from you. And Zoya looks at you and she says, "Well, it seems as if this creature removed that information from you. I could get one of my clerics to restore it for you if you require."
I think it would be useful, yeah.
"I will go fetch one right now. Emerald said to take those to your party members. I will
Yes.
send her to the outside, and she'll come get you."
Savis is gonna carefully use a claw and unwrap it and extract whatever the hell is inside, at least one of them.
There are 4 pinions. There are 4 little railroad spike type nails that are fully engraved with the runes and stuff that you guys used as a dowsing rod to find the Soulforged. He actually went back to the place where they first met the Soulforgers, the very first one, and grabbed a bunch of the nails that you guys have been using to find the Soulforged when you're in close proximity, because I think you gave it to someone as like a thing, and yeah, you basically haven't had one for a long time.
We haven't had one because we gave it to Garrett because he was on a stealth mission with Sabas, and then he never gave it back.
Ilya has it, that's right. So you basically each have one of the basically the small pinions that are a dowsing rod to find Soulforged.
Okay, yeah, Savis will extract one, put it in her backpack, and then grab all 3 and head out to the next 3, sorry, and head back to her group.
Okay, so you go into Kuzma's tent, and you take that leather wrapping and you give one of the pinions to Technician and one to Lorishek and one to Vidar.
One to who?
Technician, Vidar, and Lorishek. Did I not say that? Did I say something else that I'm unaware of?
Who's
Forgot
Vidar?
about Vidar joke.
Oh.
Everybody acts like they forgot about Vidar.
Well, to be fair, though, in the last episode, you literally couldn't be seen by anyone. It was physically impossible for literally everyone in this group to see you. So, just throwing that out there.
And then I cast invisibility.
I know. It's like, okay, Mr. 33 stealth, that's fine. You know, just casual 33. What's your minimum roll? Like 21 or 24 or something insane like that?
25.
My point stands, okay? I don't think Sabas can actually see you if you roll a 2 or a 1. Isn't your perception 0 or something like that, Sabas? Yeah, so it's literally...
My investigation is 11, so if I needed to actually find someone, I could find him.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. But for Vidar, he's just basically non-existent. if he doesn't want to be seen, he doesn't have to be seen. But you hand all these pinions to your party members, and Loreshik is getting his breastplate fitted to the best of his ability. And Kuzma looks at you guys and says, okay, as far as I can tell, the Soulforger, I don't know where they are. But the Voice of Gleam is actually being held. Or is traveling from Elekna to Veneskund. So, and I know that you've been to Elekna. So, Loeshek here. And he switches out your Yeet Stone with the new one.
Does it look the same?
Yeah.
Does this one work the same way?
I know that yours has no charge. Because you just came back. So I wanted you guys to leave immediately, if you can. Time is of the essence.
Off to Selheim, then? Assuming that Vidar has relayed this information to me while getting my breastplate fitted?
Our options seem to be awakening the Soulforge first, which would require finding the Soulforger, and we know that that can take some time, which we don't have.
Or we find the Voice of Gleam, get you healed, and then find the Soulforger.
But during this time, the Soulforged is vulnerable.
We
We're
have
gonna split
one
up,
day.
gang?
We have one day where your malady will not directly kill you. After that, I can go back to just chain healing you. Also, I have these, and Rep Rap is just going to sort of like open a panel, and it's like a miniature defibrillator. And close it.
When he opens the panel, does he see the bag in his chest?
From forever ago?
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah.
That's a new one. Yeah, it does. What this? That should not be there. What is this? What was in that bag, actually?
More of the magic weed. Technician, what do you
This
have
is not
inside of
mine.
your chest?
This is not mine.
Is this?
I
you just
believe
holding
somebody
it for
has
a friend?
stolen. I believe I might be, but somebody has stolen this and is now making me druggle smugs.
Well, you might as well keep it for if you ever need it.
Hopefully, I am not set on fire in the near future. Otherwise, the bad guys will have a good time. I am a blunt.
You are blunt
Kuzma.
and a blunt, actually.
If we go and do the Soulforged and get them awakened, elevated, whatever, will I die?
From what you've told me, your interaction with Soulforge could take any amount of time outside. But it does seem that time stands still while you are inside this experience. So I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question. I am sorry.
I have an answer to that question, but it is more convoluted. You see, local spacetime is curved. While things appear to be moving in a trajectory that would seem more circular, they are in fact following a straight line through spacetime.
Sure.
Even if we get you healed, you will eventually die, Lawerche.
Thank you for that, technician. That's precisely what I needed. I think we should do the Soulforged. Can they see the pixelated nonsense coming through my breastplate and my armor? All that? My robes? No?
No,
Damn.
all that stuff is hidden right now.
All right. For clarity, the voice of Gleam, we believe, has been captured. We don't know about the Soulforger.
No.
So, the thing that has urgency is both the Lawerchic things.
Oh.
Yeah, because
So
I
Vidar
feel
is
like
doing
someone
drugs
reversed it,
from
and
your
it might have
chest
been me.
cavity.
I'm not sure. What?
Vidar has been doing the drugs from your chest cavity?
I mean, everybody has been doing the drugs. You have done the drugs. Vidar did the drugs. I did the drugs. Sabis, baby,
I
did
did
the
not do the
drugs.
drugs.
You did the drugs. Your drug is
I
meat.
did the drugs a different time.
You did drugs a different time. We have all done
So are
drugs.
we-
We are all on drugs, yeah.
So we are going to look for Gleam. And
We are going to look for Gleam, possibly rescue the voice of Gleam, to get you healed. Then we will find the Soul Forger, because that is a less immediate task. We do have a bit of a...
The only reason why it might be considered more immediate is that if we are going to fight a bunch of Inquisitors that have captured the voice of Gleam, and we are dragging a Soulforged into this, and they wind up dead,
an
then all is
unawakened
lost.
Soul Forged.
why would we
Then
bring them with if we don't know where the Soulforger is?
And we know the general area. Here's
I
a
thought
better
we'd already
idea.
talked to the Soulforged.
The friend? I do not believe we have talked to the friend.
No, she's just been like in Kuzma's tent around Vidar because Vidar was the one that basically like actually like Sabas was there, but Vidar is like, I'm saving you right now, and she's just been like watching this sort of interaction the whole time without really saying anything, just listening.
Soulforger, not Soulforged. So we've met. The most recent was the father, right? We haven't met the friend yet.
No.
'Cause the father was the big bearded old man time thing. So we still have
This
to
is why
find
you don't know
the friend.
about general relativity, is because you referred to him as big beard old man time thing.
So we bring the Soulforged with us to Siltime in hopes of finding the friend
We
and
could
also finding the voice of Gleam.
we could also collect the awakened Soul Forge from the Forge and have them join the unawakened Soul Forge to go meet their Soul Forger so that they may become an awakened Soul Forge. And then I believe after that we need two more of exactly the same kind and combine them in the evolution chamber. No, that doesn't sound right. Hang on.
Sort of like an
Does anybody-
organic Voltron.
So we feel as though the other awakened Soulforged can adequately guide the new Soulforged to
I didn't catch any of that. I'm sorry. I was laughing way too hard.
Was that a Genshin Impact joke?
No, that is exactly what that is. Do you see what that
Soul
says?
I see. Okay. We are hoping that the awakened Soulforged can guide the unawakened Soulforged to the friend, where we don't know where they are. We just think that they might be in Siltheim somewhere. So we'll give them our compass and a lot of hope.
That does sound like a bad plan when you say it.
This will require 2 trips if we are to leave the Soulforged here. A trip there and then a trip back, a trip there.
Is that so much though? Because we just traded Kuzma our stone. So if we go and look for the voice of Gleam, and in the meantime also try to like triangulate where the Soulforger is, then we can be like, hey, one of us yeet back to the warbands, grab the Soulforged, and then yeet back to where we were, and then we're all a group again.
Lorchik, I imagine because of your immense strength, this has never been an issue for you. However, in the surface world, what is usually customarily considered unmanly is making 2 trips. For any reason.
God damn it.
Who cares about manliness? You are a machine.
Yes. I never have to make 2 trips. I usually take the thing, stuff them in an interdimensional pocket, and then move the pocket.
So you want to put the Soulforged in your pocket?
No, the pocket is not big enough to put Soulforged in. It is a small extra-dimensional space, not a medium space of extra-dimensional proportions. What?
You know we could do this all day, right?
I concur. We could do this all day where you propose an insane idea and then I explain to you the physics and why it doesn't work. Okay, so hang on. What exactly are we talking? I have lost the plot. I am 100% lost the plot.
Okay. So you have 2 options. Or you can try and do them both at once. It's up to you guys. Something I want to remind you of as a GM, I'm going to go in this once. You get like 1 per episode, if every couple episodes, is that civilizations and powerful groups of people usually hover around a singular place. Generally, over time, that place remains constant. So, think about it this way. Where did you find the other Soul Forgers? In places,
Epicenters.
epicenters where people exist, capital cities, that kind of thing, right? Your characters are reasonably smart enough to understand that the Soul Forger, the friend, should be in and around Aurelis. But you do know that the Voice of Gleam is currently being transported between Elekna and Beneskund on an Inquisitor's sort of caravan. So those are your options. You can do not.
We can go after getting Lorchik healed and then go to Aurelis. Or we go to Aurelis and then go after getting Lorchik healed, but he will definitely start dying again because that's a 3-day journey at least. Or we split the party. Robot
split
and
the
lizard
party-
adventure. Robot and lizard adventure with grenades. That's all I'm going to say.
I am immortal for the next day.
Is Stanislava around?
Yeah.
Stanislava, how well do you think that the warbands would hold up in the current situation if Yvonne and Void's champion were to arrive?
We would be fine. I think it would be a fight that we would eventually lose. That is the issue. I don't think we can fend off their forces for too long, especially if they have the champion with them. But I feel like they're waiting for something. Because you remember, at the very beginning, they attacked us months ago. And they have not returned. They know where we are.
They know where you were. We moved to a secret location. Do they know you are here?
I'm wondering if there's something waiting for them there as well. Waiting for us. But I feel I'll look into it.
It feels like it is a pretty clear decision to leave Seer here and go deal with lower issues if we know that she will be safe here. As much as I like you, Lorishik, your life is less important than the Soulforged at this point.
If we don't awaken the Soulforged, none of us will have them.
Correct.
I say that if we look for the Soulforged,
Dealing with that would be easier with you at full health, if it is possible. That she
I'm
is
permanently
safe
at full
here.
health the next day.
We are all permanently at full health until the next fight. You are permanently at full health until the next day, at which point all of the fight catches up with you.
But if I spin around really fast with my hammer, nobody can touch me.
Always twirling,
vote is for
twirling,
Soulforged.
twirling, 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 twirling toward victory.
I was going to try a Cyclone build this league.
Oof. No Path of
About
Exile sadness
20,
today.
24, something like that, and gave up. Upwards, not forwards.
So,
Okay, so as batshit crazy as it sounds, honestly, sending Rep and Lorchik after Inquisitors that are holding a prisoner does actually sound like the right move. I'm not gonna lie. That actually sounds like the right move.
okay. And then sending Sabas and Vidar with the Soulforged to go try and get her awakened.
Get
Is
it
it-
awakened.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's really going to be Sabas and two strangers, though, right? So
Speaking of which, as options are being discussed and you guys are sort of having this conversation, Sabas, you're pulled out of the tent by one of the large Drider brothers of Mira, one of the tarantula-looking guys, and he casts Greater Restoration on you. And a large portion, but not all of your memories of Vidar are brought back to you, and you sort of recognize him as this sort of friendly being, and you do remember some of the things that have happened to you, but you have your mind and your memories are not fully restored. There are a portion of those memories you will not get back because of the nature of the ability that the Void Soulforged use on you. Just letting you know.
Okay.
And the older memories are the ones that are gone. The more recent ones of the good times and things that you guys have had are restored within that. So you get most of them back, but there is a large portion of them from the beginning of your experience with Vidar that are gone forever.
All right. Sabas is going to thank the cleric, then walk into Vidar and go, "Why didn't you just tell me your name? Like, some of my memories back of you. I don't. It doesn't feel right, but Vidar, what the fuck?"
I felt like we were dealing with something powerful, and we had to move quickly. Also,
How-
staying anonymous is always part of my life goal.
How long does it take you to say your name? Vidar, what's your name?
I only share my name when necessary. I have been Fleshrender more often than I have been Vidar lately.
I'm not calling you that. I don't even care if you're disguised.
Flesh Renter. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes,
Flesh
spot on.
renter. $5 a pound.
Okay, so what would you guys like to do? Loershik, what would you like to do? Would you like to go with just you and Technician to go find the Voice of Gleam and ambush the Inquisitor people holding her? Or would you all like to go do something else?
Reprap and Reprap and Loershik on another explosive adventure. Let's do it.
Technician, I assume that, yeah, since you're the one that will voice that you should do that, okay? Vidar, what would you like to do? Are you good with going with Sabas to awaken this Soulforged?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we should deal with the Soulforged, and we can keep a low profile if Vidar and Sabas travel together.
We will not. We will make noise. We will go loud. Probably.
Stanislava's in the tent now with you guys, and she's looking at you, and she just says, I don't understand how you do it, but I have called for Casimir to accompany you.
Accompany who?
To who?
You two.
Which you two?
Can we get Bolo as well?
No, Bolo is. I will let Bolo explain. And literally, she just looks backward and Bolo walks in. So, want to give you an update on the forge. Because I just got back. So, the weapons platform is complete. We've got half of the army ready to go. That's about it. That's as far as we got. I think that things are starting to escalate. And I think that's where we're going to leave it. The Soulforged are all good. And yeah, that's where we're at.
Loerchik, if we are to effect a rescue against a person possibly being held captive by Inquisitors, should we probably not roll in armored, listening to Blitzkrieg Pop, whatever that is?
Is that a rhetorical question?
We also
I think
have
we should be sneaky like Vidar.
we also have an issue with the main weapon system is not functioning, and that's why I need to go back.
I see. It would be better to have that online. We could still use it to be very intimidating, but having an operational weapons platform is more important. Hopefully,
Just like
someday
Vidar
soon,
is.
we may observe the power of that fully
wait.
operational weapons platform.
Just wait until you see it. It's gonna be good. And Bolo nods at you, and then Casimir comes in. And Casimir has changed significantly since you've seen him last. It's been like a month or so, and Casimir walks in. And Sabas, the last time you saw Casimir, he's just like a huge buff guy. Everyone that's like the last time you saw him, he was like coordinating refugee efforts and stuff like that. He walks in, and Casimir is now a lot more hairy than you remember. He's taken on a more lupine visage. Like when you look at him, he like sort of smiles at you, and all of his teeth are sharp and much bigger than they are normally. His eyes now glow yellow, and he has like a huge patches of fur on his body.
Hello, friend Casimir. Are you a good boy?
I walk over and scratch him behind his ear.
He just looks down at you and sniffs and picks Lorshik. He picks you up without an issue and just squeezes you, knowing that you're not going to get hurt. He just squeezes you, and he's like, I've missed you very, very, very much.
Are you okay, Casimir? And did he actually hurt me? Am I gonna feel this when the potion
Oh, you
ends?
are gonna feel it when the potion ends. I have recently been blessed with a more primal aspect.
And a bit of a speech impediment, it sounds like.
My teeth are taking some time to get used to.
I take out the remainder of the pork shoulder and I hand it to him.
He just starts chewing down on it. And you notice that he doesn't have an axe anymore.
Casimir, what happened to the fancy axe I gave you that you decorated so lovingly?
I gave it to my wife because I don't need it anymore. And he looks at you and he puts his hand out and he goes like this, and massive, like, foot-long black sharp claws go out of his fingertips. And then he withdraws them.
I see. Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Yeah, pretty much, except they're on his fingertips. Okay.
We should probably get going.
Of course. And he sort of like cracks his neck after finishing like a lot of the pork belly or the pork shoulder. And he looks at all of you. He looks at the three of you, says, "So it's just us three then?"
Yes, we are effecting a rescue, a noisy one.
My favorite kind.
We left the sneaky people to go deal with a Soulforged and a Soulforgeder. No. Lexicon errors. I recently took very heavy psychic damage. Anyway, Soulforgeders.
With that, Stanislawa hands Vidar a yeet stone. Good luck. Return safely.
And Vidar is going to wave over Sieur.
Mm-hmm.
The name?
Siur.
Gonna wave over Sieur and indicate that it's time to go.
Casimir goes into his backpack, his little bag that he's always had, and he pulls out the giant gray cloaks that you were given as soon as you went into Irelis, and hands it to Siur, and just nods at her and nods at Vidar.
With that, Vidar is ready to throw the yeet stone.
And both of you sort of nod at the groups, nod at each other, and both of you are pulled in different directions. So what we're going to do, here is I need to do a little bit of things. We're gonna put Sabas there. We're gonna put Vidar there. We're gonna put Technician here. Okay, so Lorishik and Technician, where exactly do you want to go? Because you have loads of options. You can go anywhere between Yunskiel. You've been to Elekna. You've been to Natode. You've been to all these places. Where exactly would you like to go in Siltime? We're going to go ahead and activate the Siltime thing. The Siltime map.
Have we given any information on where Gleam might be held? The voice of Gleam.
They're traveling between Veniskund and Elekna at the moment. So they're trying to go back towards Core. So Let me know where you would like to end up.
We haven't been to Veniskund yet, though, have we?
No, you have not.
But they're traveling from Veniskun to Elecna?
No, they're going from Elecna to
other way.
Veniskund because they need to go towards Artstadt.
Probably makes most sense for us to end up in Elecna.
So you want to actually drop in
Hey.
Elecna?
Hang on, though. Hang on. Because we've been to Artstadt.
You have been to Artstadt.
Are they connected?
Yeah. they're
Yes,
physically connected.
yes. Veniskund is basically on the border of Artstadt and Siltheim.
No, it's just the southeast side.
Southeast side by Poulon. Basically, there's a road that goes from Poulon to Veniskund. I just didn't put it in there because genuinely it doesn't matter all that much. So it's just, and it's not a very used road anyway. So
The problem is that everywhere that we have been is on the other side of Core, so we would have to intercept them at Core, and that's days away, so you're no longer invincible.
you'd have to go to Helrada, would be like the closest place you guys have actually been to.
No, we've been to Core.
But Helrada is farther east. Let me show you. Like if you were to drop yourselves
Oh, no, you're
into
right, yeah.
Artstadt, you've never been to Poulon, because I think Sabis.
It assumes they're following the road. I was looking just as the crow flies. So that's all.
Yeah. So if you look here, you'd have to go to Poulon. But no, you two haven't been to Poulon. It was only Ilya and Sabis went that direction. You guys went the other direction. And that's still like just between Veniskund and assuming they're all on horses, but just between Veniskund and Elecna, you're still talking 2 days. So if they just started, you're still talking. Yeah, actually, that's a 3-day ride. That's a 3-day ride by horse. So if they're not all on horses, it definitely slows them down considerably. But you don't know any of that information. So
We can assume that the Inquisitors need to stop and rest. It's not a one-day travel. If we can hire people from Elecna to transport us, they can drive while we rest if we need to. And
I
that
can
would
drive
give
while
us
you
the upper
rest.
hand. Yeah, but we have learned that you still need to rest too. And Casimir would also have to rest. You'd have to pull us by cart.
actually, I don't anymore.
I just look over at him, just wide-eyed.
I told you, he is a good boy. No rest.
I have been gifted by one of the gods. Some call it a curse, but for me it's a new form.
In that case, it probably makes sense for us to leave now and attempt to travel quickly.
Okay, so you're going straight into Elecna?
As far northwest as we've been in Elecna.
Okay. Yeah, you guys basically come out like right at the border area of Elecna where like the horse stables and stuff are. That's where you land. And then Vidar, where would you like to end up in Irelis specifically? Because you can come on the outside, you can land on the inside if you want to. Where would you like to end up?
I forget. In the past, have we usually found Soulforged outside of cities or inside? They've usually been slightly
Usually,
outside,
like,
right?
it depends. Cleric boy was,
been
or
mixed.
paladin boy was literally like in the center of town. Like the most important part, just like chilling as a member. We had another one was in a prison, which I think was near the outskirts. I can't remember. We had one that was just a member of a tribe, so it's not really. It's neither. That was actually like a lesser area. This one was in like a tiny ass village, just chilling. Last one we found. I mean, it could be anywhere, but it'd probably be in the center. At the very least, we have plenty of pylons.
And the thing about that Sabbath is you would know that the common denominator for all of these locations is that they're all ancient. So the place you're looking for is a place that has not changed in a very, very long time. Meaning a ruin or a building that has always existed, that kind of thing. And
You're looking for the Aurelius Cracker Barrel.
yep. And like between Sabas and Vidar, you don't even need to roll history that much. You would understand that there are buildings within Irelis that have existed forever, like even before the cultures that, like Irelis, the one before that. There's a load of buildings that have all existed because they don't fit the now state of Irelis. Like they're different colored stone, and there's a handful of them, and they're part of a sort of slavers district where they take and hold a lot of people and other sort of creatures that they have deemed as unworthy, that they call the forgotten what's it called, the forgotten district.
Have I ever been to that district?
Not specifically, no.
Oh,
You have seen it, and you could get yourselves close to it, but you can't like warp right into it.
is it on the south side of town where it would be easier to go to the gate where the tiger attack happened, or would it be easier to just go in from the inside of town?
It's actually the farthest point from the docks. So the docks are on like the north directly north side, and then the south, that southern wall has those ancient buildings in it, because they want as the least chance of escape as possible by putting them as like they have to cross a huge amount of open ground to get to an escape point essentially.
Unless Sabas disagrees, I feel like going just inside the south gates.
At this point, it's pretty apparent that he kind of just knows where the fuck we are, no matter what we do. The YOLO. Time saved is probably the ideal goal here.
Were you with us the last time, Sabas, when we came in through the south gates?
No.
No, that was
Oh,
before Sabbath.
Technician gave one of the
Or wait.
guards a bag of tricks, and a
Well,
tiger popped out.
Yeah, well, that tiger. No, I was there.
But yeah,
I forgot, though.
she was there for that one. That's right.
Yeah,
That was hilariously
we,
bad.
we don't have a bag of tricks this time, so trying to not have to get past guards, but also want to be in that vicinity. So, would there have been a place just inside the south gate that I would have seen that would have been like low profile to show up in?
There's a toilet somewhere.
There was that inn that's run by Beholder.
That was up by the dock. That was up by the docks, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
That was
was.
on the other side of town.
Yeah, but where are you guys trying to get to, right? Like, if you just want a good place in the city.
Good point.
Figure back alleys near the south gate would get us almost there, because if I would have known that the area that we're looking for is in this southernish area. Anyway,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's something that Vidar, you would have gone out of your way to make sure that you know where all these things are. And you guys warp directly into a small alleyway by a bunch of dilapidated buildings that specific groups of people live. And you basically land right in the middle of the in between these two sets of shacks. And yeah, you're in one of the worst places to be if you're a person. And we're gonna go on our 15-minute break while I get everything set up. This episode might be branched into 2 episodes, considering we're gonna have to jump back and forth between areas. So it also helps me prepare for.
Does it help if we focus down one of these episodes and then we do Meanwhile and then cut to the other one next week? Does that help?
Depends. I just don't want people to get bored. That's the key.
I mean, Lorchik and I are already entertaining ourselves over here.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm at the point where, like, if I'm not doing anything, Dota patch just dropped, and if I am doing something, I am keenly interested. No, this is like the stakes are high enough that I'm like genuinely like fully invested. Like, what the hell is happening
Same,
here?
actually, yeah. I for me, it's remembering that I'm not there, so I'm not allowed to talk. That's the tricky part. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
All right, so
It's like, oh, I have an idea. Wait.
we'll go on our 15-minute break, and then we'll talk during the 15-minute break to see who wants to take priority for this episode, and then the next episode, we actually know what we could do, because Sabbath said she's probably going to be gone next week. We could just do Sabbath and Vidar this week, so that when we go into next week, Sabbath doesn't actually have to be here.
The problem is not availability. The problem is that it's midnight when D&D starts in an unfamiliar country when I'm partying basically every single day.
Yeah, but we'll figure that out
Yes.
during the break, and we'll see you guys
Well,
in 15
yeah.
minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody. Legendary Tales. We're back from a 15-minute break. We are going to shift our attention down for the rest of this episode to Vidar and Sabas. So you guys warp in. You are in an alleyway next to the southern gate, where a guard had an unfortunate experience with a tiger, and that was bad for them. But Vidar and Sabas, you are with Sior. Sior, who is the Soulforged that you rescued in I forgot where you were. I don't even know where you were.
Harntier.
Harntier in the crag. You guys arrive, and she's looking around, a little bit confused. You're just a short walk away from these ancient-looking buildings that are completely white. Their facades have been worn down by time and sand, and all the the extremely hazardous environmental effects that exist in Siltheim now have worn away a lot of the sort of sculptings and parts of these buildings that are normally, or like a long time ago, would be very visible. And these buildings have a sort of large angular face to them, where they appear to be built out of large slabs of rock that have been carved to look this way, sort of like an ancient Egyptian style, or basically as a monument rather than like a functional building or some sort of religious construction. Because a lot of those sort of government buildings and religious constructions have a lot more grandiose appearance, and these ones are sort of built in that manner. What would you like to do?
Sneak around and see if we can find whoever it is, or we can try and blend in. But we're one of us is socially incompetent, so it's up to them.
I'm going to try to. Well, first off, Vidar is going to turn to Sierra and be like, how well are you at blending in?
I blend in as much as I can. I would say that at this point I look very little like anyone else here anyway. This cover, the cover hides my visage anyway. And you can definitely tell that like the cover, like the sort of burqa style full length body covering that you guys are actually wearing in addition to that, definitely conceals her identity, because she just looks like a human or like a humanoid underneath it. Whereas if you're to look at Sabbath, she has the actual like silhouette of a snake person, and Vidar, your eyes sort of glow underneath it. She looks very inconspicuous comparatively to the two of you anyway.
Then we should begin moving, and then pointing towards the buildings, and also going to be peeking at the compass and the pinions, basically every chance we get.
So are both of you pulling out your pinions to check them?
I think just one. One of us is necessary. We don't need both. Plus, to be walking around with nails is a little suspicious.
A little bit. So who's gonna have their opinion out?
I mean, Vidar is going to have his the compass out
Oh,
on the other
okay.
hand anyway, basically, so we can probably just check both.
Okay. You pull out your compass, and
Whip out your opinion.
for where are you right now? You guys are here. So the compass itself, basically all of the arms have disappeared except for the large, or the all three arrows are pointing to the northwest, northwest. So just barely like north of where you guys are. The dark chaos sort of looking arrow is pointing directly to the island that you were made knowledgeable of that houses Void, essentially, that you know of. And it tells you where the Void Soulforged is. He appears to be at that island to the northeast. Outside of that, that's the only information you find from the compass. Your pinion, however, is gently shaking in your hand. It isn't quite lit up yet, but there's definitely something nearby that you can definitely recognize as something relevant to Soulforgers and the Soulforged.
It appears we are moving in the right direction. Let's keep going.
All right, Sabas will follow.
Okay. Um. Yeah. Are you going into? So each of these buildings don't have doors on them. It does appear that the doors fell off at some point in the not even recent past, a long time, because there were like these large sections chiseled out specifically for hinges for doors, but they have since worn off, and they're like little divots in the stonework. And as you're heading toward the entrance of these buildings, you can definitely tell that there's like 3 buildings, all of which are connected, but they don't appear to be like intricately interwoven or anything like that from the outside. But the main building, the larger building, as you head toward that entrance, the pinion begins to glow gently as it sort of, it's not really like vibrating, but it's actually like shaking and like jittering in your hand.
I'll move towards that building and kind of peek in the doorway.
The doorway inside reveals a large foyer or a large opening area where there appears to be at one point a set of pillars, but the pillars have crumbled and the roof has actually crumbled inward. The outsides of the building, the outside edges of this large rectangular room have been cleared away so that you can get to the rear section of this building. But this middle section, this entrance has the roof has caved in from I don't even know, it's like non-maintenance. I don't know what the actual word is for that.
Disrepair.
Dilapidated.
Is there anybody like in the area, like hanging out? Or...
There's a sleeping vagabond in the right corner as soon as you enter the room. Like you look inside and you're looking to the right, and there's just a sleeping man that has a blanket and his backpack stuffed in the corner, so that you have to get past him to get to his backpack.
He doesn't look like he's any sort of threat, just kind of like somebody squatting in the building.
Yep, that's what it appears to be. It just appears to be a guy sleeping in there because it's a place that he can sleep peacefully.
Can I investigate, check him out just a little bit to actually make sure that
Sure, go and make an investigation check.
And I can look around too.
Sure. Did you roll a 1? Oh, you're not proficient. Okay. Uh-oh. Is my opera
But I am.
crashing? Hell yeah. You both sort of walk over and look at this guy, and he's just a homeless man who's sleeping in this building because it's a place where he can stay dry, and outside of the ash storms and sandstorms and stuff, he's just in here so he can get away from the weather, and he is sleeping. He does appear to be armed, but he is definitely out at the moment.
All right. Yeah, he looks unconscious. We have. Don't worry.
we should look around to see if there's any way to any sort of basement of the building or anything?
Yeah, Savas is gonna look around, see what she can find.
Sure. With your investigation check, it just it just covers this whole room. You sort of walk back, and the gray light that comes in from outside, because the sun has always out most of the time until time, but the light that it shines in is filtered through these ash clouds from the volcano to the north. And that leaves either a green light or a gray light that shines through most windows and open areas. The ceiling that's been caved in shines a mellow green light onto everything, and the back room is sort of shadowed because its roof is intact, but you can see one entrance to the left that appears to go into the left side of this building, and that area you've actually seen inside before, and that's an area where they keep animals and things that are meant for transport, but they keep them out of the ash because it has a large metal plate that they sort of shift in front to protect the animals from the ash storms, and that leads into that area because you can see a bunch of straw jutting out from that entrance. And as you get closer, you can actually smell the smell of like a zoo or a bunch of animals that are put together in small spaces. And with that, you can see that there's another large entrance, very similar to the front entrance of this building, in the the rear part of the room, and that leads into another fairly large room past that. You just can't quite see into it because you're a little bit too far away. If I was to tell you that the dimensions of this room are like 30 by 50, so your dark vision doesn't quite reach, because you have dark vision, right?
I don't probably do.
I think you.
I have 60 feet.
Yeah. So your dark vision barely reaches in there, but you can't make anything out because it's still in grayscale. So the light from the ceiling is not long enough to pierce into there. You can't really see too far into that room.
All right. I guess we'll sneak towards the back entrance.
Are you guys sneaking, or are you just sort of wandering in?
Travis is gonna sneak. We're in weird people territory.
Vidar not going to explicitly sneak, but move cautiously and following the pinion as much as possible.
Okay. Have you put away the compass, or are you still keeping the compass out?
I put the compass away. It seems like that's more Soulforged than Soulforger.
Mm-hmm. As you're like hanging onto the pinion and like pointing it in different areas to see if it starts reacting to different environmental stimuli, you sort of move and look, like point it toward the back, and it begins to shake violently in your hands as it like points directly to the back and glow gently that like light blue turquoise color as you head to the back. And Sabbath, as you slowly move toward that rear entrance, for some reason your dark vision doesn't move past a certain point. Like there's something there that's blocking your vision about 20 feet into this far room.
Fascinating. Sabbath is gonna sort of look at Vidar and go, Can you see through that door? I can't.
And you have a similar experience. The room is dark, but it gets like sort of impossibly dark at that 20-foot mark.
Hey, that
Is there
rhymed.
any chance that it seems like the little watery sheen stuff that we normally see outside of a
It does
Soulforger, or
not.
is it-
It does not look similar to that yet. And you do remember that you had to be like right up on it to see the sheen, because those things that you like, especially in the temple under the lizard area in Verdengard, when you went in there, you had to be like right up on it to see the sheen to begin with, and you were the one that had to be like right next to it.
Vidar's going to kind of move closer to one of the walls to see if viewing it from a different angle at all changes, like if it looks like we're looking at an object or if there's some sort of like magical darkness.
From different perspectives, it does appear to be a magical darkness in some way, shape, or form. That's just a straight line all the way across this like 20-foot wide room. It's 20 feet in, and then the room itself is 20 feet wide. So you have just like a couple, like two 10-foot sections on either side. That the room itself is like it goes in and then it goes 5 feet and then goes in farther. So there's a couple sections that are like 10 feet in that are just, the whole thing is just covered with this wall of darkness.
Guess we're walking through it. Not really much else to do and then just head in.
Vidar is going to light his lantern that he almost never uses because light is bad for not being spotted.
Fair.
But he's going to light it up and see if does that still leave like the black, still no penetrating the darkness.
Yeah, you pull your lantern out when you get closer, and Sabas, you see him do that, and it literally is just a wall of dark, what appears to be smoke. It's just has like a smoky visual effect where instead of light being reflected from like the watery aspect of that sheen that you do when you go through to visit a soul forger, this one is like a wall of dark smoke that you just can't see through.
Yeah, Savage is just gonna walk through, I think. There's not much else to do in this situation.
Okay. What would you like to do, Vidar?
Vidar is going to ask Seer, have you ever had special powers growing up?
In a way.
What sort of things are you naturally inclined to?
There's this feeling that I get that, have you ever looked at someone and the moment you look at them, you feel like something is off? You've seen this sort of strange feeling where you look at someone and they're inherently not trustworthy, or there's something going on that you're not quite able to figure out immediately.
I can relate. I trust almost no people, so perhaps my sense is overtuned.
Imagine that feeling is correct every time. The moment I saw you and her, I had this feeling like I have to go. For the first time in my life, looking at someone I could trust immediately, and I came with you, and here we are. I just have this ability that I've been told is able to read people without even interacting with them.
That sounds useful. Anything you can intuit from this smoke wall?
It feels
Or only
bad.
people?
It's not just people. It's like if you go... Have you ever experienced something soul-stitched? Like, if you're to look at an object and you can identify that it's been soul-stitched.
Indeed, once or twice.
Well, there are a variant of these objects that are soul-stitched without the red sheen. There is such a thing as that. And I have been able to identify more than one of them. And this feels off. It doesn't feel... Soul-stitched items feel wrong. They feel hurtful. They feel pain. And this just feels wrong to me. It feels like there's somewhere else that we need to go to get around this object. I feel like if we go through it, it's not going to end well. And that's when like she looks at Sabas and Sabas is like, I'm gonna go through it, and she grabs Sabas by the arm and goes, no, don't do that.
Sabas is gonna pull out her boot knife and poke it into the shadow wall.
I heard the Shabbos.
You pull out your boot knife and you stab the wall, and as you put the boot knife in, the blade dissolves into rust fully.
Sabas goes, well, I'm glad I have another boot knife. Shut up! Glad I have another boot knife. And steps back and goes, okay, well, don't we have to go through this? What are we supposed to do now?
Is there any chance I could do a history check to see if I know anything about the friend?
Sure,
Is he a
sure.
bad guy? Is he a
Just,
good guy?
just try it.
Just do it. Nope. Oh, holy fuck.
He rolled a 20. That was a nat one, but we're gonna let it happen because of rules as written.
20, min 10. Alright.
So the thing that you know is the thing that you immediately remember is not that it's not about the friend, it's about Irelis. Something like this would exist because they don't want slaves going through this. So that means that there has to be a way to either escape the city or a way for someone to use this passage or this building as a way to escape, essentially. So this enchantment was put here by the people of Irelis to prevent their slaves from escaping.
CR, do you have to actually interact with someone to be able to find out things about them? Well,
It's
how about
it's
that
more
guy? Point to the sleeping guy in the corner.
he's just surviving. And he feels good. It's not like a lot of the vast majority of people feel neutral to me. And he feels good. I think I've been thinking about it for a while to understand the feeling that I felt most of my life, especially recently, has been a little bit more active because of how many people I've interacted with. But that man in the corner feels like an omen or something that it's just all feelings. It's like when you see something and you just feel like you should go do it or you should go interact with that person. I feel the need to talk to him. But again, I am not exactly the most sociable person. I get very nervous about it because of my feelings they've always been right, but I'm just waiting for that one moment where I'm incorrect. I've been waiting for that moment my whole life, and I don't want this to be it.
Vidar's going to go walk over to the guy, and while standing over him, kind of nudge him with his foot. Hey, wake up. We have questions.
I mean, oh. What? What do you want?
And Vidar's going to point to the smoke wall and be like, this seems dangerous. Why are you hanging out so close?
Because no one comes in here. I don't get bothered because the only people that come in here tend to get dissolved by said wall.
Do you know a lot about this area? Do you live around here?
I know enough. Who's asking?
I am, and I need to know what's on the other side of the wall and how we can get there.
You got money?
Samus flicks five gold pieces at him.
Shit. Let's go. What are you trying to do? We trying to get past the wall? We trying to get through the wall? Like, what's our objective? And he
Through the wall.
he sort of stands up and brushes his like gray coverall off and puts his hood up. It's just a hood. It's not like a full face covering. He puts his hood up.
We need to get on the other side.
We need to get on the other side. How destructive are you okay with being?
We are trying to not draw attention.
So we're trying to be sneaky like.
Yeah.
All right. I've done a lot of research. And enchantments like this are permanent if you cast it enough. But I've been living in this area for a few years, and this wall has only existed after a bunch of slaves escaped. And when I say a bunch, I'm talking like 50 to 60 in one night. So that tells me a couple things. It tells me that it can fit a ton of people in it. And it can't be that far or goes very far for them to not be found again. So, I have a feeling that there's either someone or some sort of focus maintaining the spell. And if it's in that room, it's either on the other side or on our side. So I bet if we find the focus of said spell, then we'll be good. And I have a feeling it'll be camouflaged or concealed in some way. So I'm wondering if we could go by. Are either of you cast spells, magic folk?
Not
Savis nods just once.
Can you cast a spell, dispel magic, or detect magic?
Unfortunately, none of that variety.
Do you have the ability? Is that one of your options? Because if it is, all we have to do is procure ourselves a scroll of detect magic or dispel magic. Because I'm not saying we dispel the wall, I'm saying that we dispel the cover or the concealment cast upon the focus. We destroy said focus and we move the fuck on. You get what I mean?
I'm pretty sure any person that can cast spells can cast any scroll, so.
No, you can only cast spells within your spell list that's available to you.
It's just, I don't know. What class is this spell magic? Where are you?
Time to do some research.
I know a class that has dispel magic.
Well, yeah, must be nice, technician.
All of them. All of them except for Artificer. Okay. No, Artificer's at the end. Alright. All of them.
So you can cast.
I've never learned to do it myself, but the scroll would work.
All right, so we have our mission. I don't know many people that would carry that kind of scroll or have the ability to make it, but I do know one creature. And he doesn't like me very much. And if you've been here for a little while, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Have you ever seen an old man with a cat?
Oh, God. Savis looks immediately disappointed, just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, we've met. We've done errands for him.
So, you know where to find him, right? He hangs out in front of he runs in front of that, across from the bar.
Indeed. I was hoping to be able to stay on this side of town, but that'll have to go.
Unless you can find someone else to get that scroll, I don't know what our options are. I know he doesn't like me very much, but his notions are not necessarily misplaced. But I will be going to the bar, though. I need to talk to the proprietor, because he might also have it available. So if y'all want to go check that, I'll go check the bar. Unless you want to come with me and we can go to him together.
I will talk to Mr. Catman.
So would you like to join me, Snake Lady?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. What about you? And Seer just sort of moves closer to Vidar. I'll go with him. All right, let's go. And he sort of puts his backpack on under his cloak and adjusts it. All right. All right. By the way, my name is Bert. You are?
Looking for a dispel magic scroll. That's who I am.
If that's how it's gonna be, that's how it's gonna be. I just wanted to know who my companions are, that's all.
Savis.
I'm Bert.
He doesn't like to get his name up. Oh well. Just call him Tin Can.
Fair enough. And the lady just nods at him and Seer doesn't say anything to him. All right. You and I have a meeting with a multiple-eyed man. This should be interesting. All right. And Sabas and Burr make their way to the bar. Vidar, what are you and Seer doing?
Do we spot Terry and Gusha hanging out outside?
Yep.
I'm gonna walk up to him.
I have their icon in
Also
here, right?
While kind of motioning to us here to stay kind of close, but also stay back.
Are you gonna tell her about him or no?
Yeah, on the way over. We'll tell
There you
her.
go. I do have their icon here. She goes, I am sort of afraid to look at him and see what he feels like to me, but we'll see. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do Sabas and Burr first.
Okay.
You two walk and as soon as you and Burr go past Terry, the cat, you can tell is staring at you the whole time. You can sort of feel it on your left cheek as Terry just slowly watches you. You know that sort of ominous feeling that the cat gives you because he's like just not, you don't know what he is, but he's not right. You can feel him.
As soon as Alice feels that feeling, she's just gonna nod and then shake her head and keep moving.
And the cat actually nods back at you.
She ain't looking, she's just nodding.
Yeah. You can feel it. It's something that you just have this like burning sensation on your cheek, and then it sort of stops when you nod. Is it just me, or is that there's something wrong with that cat, right?
It's not just you.
Okay. It definitely feels very strange. Well,
Yeah, is Savage just gonna walk into the bar? Just completely ignore the cat. Did he ever?
that's not the name of the beholder, is it really?
Well, I'm gonna check my notes, but the famous one is that actually it's the larger Luigi. Yeah.
Between that and Xanathar, yeah.
Yeah. So let me double check my notes.
Okay. Sabas, have you seen the beholder inside the bar here before? Or no, I think you were with Terry and Gusha last time, right? Because I think Lorishik went by himself.
I can't remember that sequence of events. I think it had something to do with like. No, I walked into the bar. I'm pretty sure Red Rock stayed outside.
You did, and then it was me trying to use you to create a distraction with 3-card Monty, but we didn't actually get that far because Vidar stole, and then we fucked off immediately. So
yeah, that was supposed to be like a I'm gonna walk in and say hi to my friend kind of thing, and then nothing. So yeah, so I've seen the beholder, but I've not talked to him.
You've not talked to him.
Oh, it was. That's right. I remember the alliteration now. Yeah, that's it.
What was his name? Did you ask?
Spooky found it.
Boris.
I didn't have it in my notes.
Boris.
Boris. That's right. It's Boris. Boris the Beholder. He okay. So you and Burr walk into Bert walk into this bar where there's the same amount of people basically as the last time you were here. It looks very similar. Not much has changed. And you're immediately met by Boris, who basically walks in and goes, Burr, why do I feel like you are here to annoy me? And Burr just looks up at him and flashes 5 gold. The 5 gold that you gave him. It's about time you pay me back. Put it in my pouch. And I will not kill you. And he puts it, wordlessly, he puts it in. I actually have a request to know if you have access in your hoard of a specific item. One my friend here can utilize. And he just looks at Sabas.
Sabas is gonna look at some part of the beholder. Probably many.
Are you looking between the different eyes? Is that the
basically
issue?
just, like, trying to make eye contact.
I'm sorry. Which one do I
simultaneously.
focus on?
And he looks
Sabas
at
is like,
he looks
yeah, someone's a beholder and like start like focuses on them and looks and go, which one do you look at? Or just none of them.
pick one. Just
Pick
pick
one.
one. Just pick one.
Sabas is picking one. Smallest one, ideally.
What do you
I will,
need,
I,
young
I will
one?
pay for it. Dispel magic scroll.
I don't have any dispel magic scrolls.
Will you function as a dispel magic scroll?
I do.
Can I pay for your services?
Yes, but I require something of you.
I assume you mean more than gold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Somehow, the man outside, across the street, has a vial of my blood. I need it back.
For fuck's sake! Sabas pauses for a second. And is Vidar like outside the bar at this point? Like, where is he within 60 feet?
Yes.
Sabbath will telepathically tell him, you piece of fucking shit. We need the vial of blood back. You know which one, you fucker. Then nods at the beholder. Okay. I can do that. I assume that comes first.
Hold on. I'm trying to roll something. Okay, there we go. I have a question for you, Sabas. Do
One
you,
sec.
do
My
you
girlfriend's yelling at me.
Okay. We'll go do Vidar real quick. Vidar.
Nope, never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. I don't know what she's yelling at.
Sabas. Do you react when he says the man has a vial of my blood? What do you do when he says that?
Blank slate.
You're
Just
you're
ultimately done with this bullshit.
you're attempting to keep a straight face.
Yes.
Will you make a deception check for me, please?
Does she know that Sabas there for that?
Mm-hmm.
Also, wait a second.
Okay.
Yeah, we just went over this.
Remember correctly.
She was
I
in
get
on the
advantage on
plot.
the
She was
second checks.
distraction, but
I have actor now, so I get an advantage on those. So 22.
Right. Okay. He believes you.
She didn't say anything. She was just like, nope, blank slate. Not saying anything.
Okay.
So Sabas will turn around and I guess that's where we're going.
Okay.
Back outside.
You sort of look back at Vidar as he walks over there, and Vidar, you get the message of we need the vial from Gusha back. As you walk up to Terry and Gusha, and Gusha looks at you and says, "Greetings. It seems you are back. How can I help you?"
I need a dispel magic scroll. You know where I could find one?
Maybe. What's in it for me?
Pretty sure I gave you an awful lot last time.
Yeah, but you gave me exactly what I needed. That was a small favor to ask anyway.
Well, we asked an even smaller favor.
Scroll.
What do you-
Magic
what do you
scrolls
need
are
this time?
expensive. What do I need? So, the beholder has something of mine that he's trying to ransom for the vial of blood that you procured for me last time. And
Did you lose it?
no, he stole it. I don't know how, but he stole it. See,
He
Terry.
stole his own blood back?
No, no, no. He did not steal his blood. He stole something else from me. He stole Terry's collar. And he has it in the back room where he hides his hoard.
Terry doesn't seem like he needs the collar. He seems like a free spirit.
There is a spirit, but letting it free is the opposite of beneficial to literally everyone on this plane. The collar prevents the spirit from being released. I need the collar. And I will dispel whatever magic you want. And when I say whatever magic you want, any magic. I just need a bit of blood.
Oh my God.
I cannot use my own. So if you get me the collar, I will use this beholder's blood to dispel whatever magic you need dispelled.
It seems like if I say no, you're saying that the entire plane will be destroyed
Eventually.
by.
The problem with the collar being removed is it's only a matter of time before the enchantments are broken and Terry's true form is released.
Why would the beholder want that to happen?
He wants me to
Terry is
leave.
So cute as a cat.
He wants me to leave the plane. He's trying to convince me to just leave and unleash it somewhere else. Because
Vidar is going to psychic whispers to Seer and ask if she is getting intuition on this.
she can respond, right?
Yeah.
It's not the man that's the issue. The man feels like a just neutral existence. The cat, however, is just overwhelmingly destructive. I don't understand how to explain it. It's like you look at an object that's potentially volatile and you understand that that's a bomb or something or similar sort of explosive device. That's what the cat feels like. But the man himself feels neutral, like he's just existing. And he's almost happy in that existence, actually.
And good sir, how do we know that this collar is not being taken from Terry to prevent him from gaining that power? How do we know that this is not the power source? How do we know that for sure that it is a restraint?
There's only one way for me to explain that in truth. If you'd like to pet him, he will let you do it one time. And that will reveal the truth to you. But be aware that when you do this, I cannot guarantee you'll be the same person after.
In what ways?
Terry's true form has an effect on people when they see it that, depending on your nature, can change how you feel and how you act toward living beings.
I'm already not a huge fan of living beings.
So then you have nothing to lose.
That makes sense. Vidar's going to pet the cat.
Terry literally puts a paw out for you, like a little prince. And you just grab it, or what do you do exactly?
I'll take it in one hand and then kind of give the back of the paw a little pet with the other hand.
As soon as you do that, the cat's eyes turn to a liquid black ink as you're pulled into this sort of hellscape. And Terry in cat form is just sitting on the ground in front of you. and all of a sudden explodes in blood everywhere. Blood begins to rain out from the thing, and the same monster that Technician witnessed from before sort of begins to exist, except that you're in the crag, and everything is on fire, and he's smashing, destroying people, cutting people in half, just going postal on the whole existence of the world, essentially. And then all of that is brought back in to Terry as a cat. And on Terry's collar, it's like a black leather, like a half-inch wide leather piece of leather with a small buckle on it. But on that buckle hangs a small gemstone that is a swirling mess of chaos, and it's an 8-faceted sort of like basic gemstone shape, but it's got like swirling chaos in it, and you could definitely tell there's like some sort of, you get a feeling in the back of your head when you look at the gemstone that it just contains this sort of massive creature, not in the gemstone, but it's sort of a ring of protection from essentially evil that the cat wears to prevent the true form from coming out.
Is there anything that I can tell from the vision that gives like a timeline? Like, is this like a year from now or like 100 years from now?
Make a perception check. I'm gonna say that the minimum 10 rule in this aspect will not count, so we'll just count your basic roll of the dice and then add your modifier to it. I know your perception is insane to begin with, but we'll see.
It wouldn't let me change the formula, but
It's still,
Those
well,
more
you
than-
still rolled way higher. As the being that you are, you sort of have this incredible recollection and history. And the stars, you can actually see, like, he basically has removed the clouds, and you can actually see the stars. It's sort of like when you had that experience that you can look directly onto the moon, and instead of having clouds and the atmosphere is gone, you can see just pure stars. They're definitely in a position that's within the next, like, 8 months, a year. So in the relatively near future.
and then I assume I pop back out of the vision.
Yep. You're put back into your body and you blink. So you see. Get me my collar back, and I'll dispel whatever magic you want.
And you would let this happen to our plane as opposed to moving on?
I can't answer that question in an objective manner. What I can say is I have been charged by a being that is incredibly powerful, and I have been charged guardianship over Terry. And if I let Terry out, I get punished by this incredibly powerful being. It's not that I don't care about your plane. It's that I care about the welfare of Terry. Because when Terry is let out forever, he's no longer Terry. I would just consider myself apathetic, as opposed to nihilistic or I just don't. It's not that I don't care for your people. It's just that there's one thing I care about. And unfortunately, it's not your plane. And the sooner I get that collar, the sooner I can leave. The only reason I'm still here is because he stole it from me somehow.
How long ago did he steal this? You've been here quite a while.
Surprisingly, just after you left the last time. after he figured out that we stole his blood. Beholders have this sort of sense of apparently everything.
Where exactly is this beholder's hoard?
If you go to the bar,
Good.
directly behind him is an entrance to a back room. That's where he stores it. His hoard is stored within a chest. The chest leads to a pocket dimension. That pocket dimension is where he keeps his hoard. I can see your party member talking to him right now. I have a feeling that he wants his blood back. And he's
Yeah,
promised.
he is currently making the similar deal.
Yes, that's what I assume is happening. And I want you to know that I will trade his blood for the collar. But I will not give it to you. He has to come out here himself. So, you have your choices. I will be here in my rocking chair until you get back.
Vidar is going to walk into the bar.
Sabas, you sort of watch this thing happen as Boris goes and hangs out and helps customers and all this other stuff, and you're just watching Vidar. He comes in.
So he wants his blood back.
Yes, I received your message, Sebas. I was able to talk to him and make him realize the error in his ways. He has said that he would like Boris to receive the blood himself directly, and that he did not want me to courier it in here. He wanted to give it back so that way he could apologize directly.
Somehow that does not sound like Gusha, but okay.
It sounds like not Terry. Gusha seems to be inoffensive to the most part.
It doesn't seem like the kind of just gave something back.
He maybe saw the error in his ways, saw the grievances that it has caused our friend here.
So you are trying to deceive me. So
Are you trying? Are you Vidar? Are you trying to deceive Sabas right now? Or,
I mean,
or is that your perspective?
I'm just
you are
Totally saying
absolutely
this-
trying to deceive Sabas.
not trying to deceive Sabas. We're talking loudly in front of Boris. I'm not going to say, "Hey, Sabas, watch me trick this beholder."
Boris has wandered over. Greetings. I saw you talking to him. What did he say to you?
He said that he wants to apologize and has seen the errors in his ways. He would not let me bring the blood back, but wanted to give it to you himself.
He looks at you and is like, he's gonna go ahead and X to doubt that. Go ahead and make me a It's with my browser right now. Okay. Go ahead and make me a deception check, please. Oh, he rolled a nat 20 and was one off.
Wow.
He literally can't beat your 10. He can't beat your 10 roll. It's impossible.
Thanks.
So you're telling me he wants to apologize to me for taking my blood?
That is what he told me.
Well, I assume he wants it back then.
Oh, he wants what back?
I am willing to give him maybe.
This sounds like something that you might need to speak to him about. I'm not sure. I was only told to recover blood. He said that he wanted you to recover it yourself.
Tell him he has to come over here. We can meet outside the bar, but I will not go over there.
Neutral ground, if it were.
Well, the door is large enough for me to fit through barely, so.
Vidar's going to go back and talk to Gusha.
What did he say?
He mentioned the collar, but only in passing, did not describe what it was. And he kind of waffled on the idea of maybe making a trade.
Will you make a deception check for me, please?
Damn.
Why are your skills so high?
Because you told me all of the exact skills that I needed for this character, and I listened to you.
I fucked up. Okay, I fucked that up. Okay, let's do Terry.
I said, hey, Devin, what skills should I be proficient in? And you're like, how about these ones?
Gusha is like, that's fair, and then Terry sort of pushes on his head and is loudly purring. No, I don't believe you. What's going on?
He said that he would meet you at the doorway, and that he would not come all the way out where he's too large.
He did not mention the color, though, did he?
He did not mention it directly. He said, I did also not mention the collar. I did not tell him that you wanted it back, only that you were willing to give the blood back, that you had seen the error in your ways. He was the one that mentioned in passing that you wanted something, and he mentioned that he might be willing to make that trade. I did not press further to imply that I knew what he was talking about.
Go tell him I have to see the color before I will walk over there.
And Vidar's gonna walk back into the bar.
Zabas, what are you doing during all of these exchanges? Are you doing anything specific?
Being thoroughly confused because she can tell that something's not quite right and not being told what's going on. So basically, just like left, right, and left,
Just watching it happen, you're just
and
observing?
and right,
S-
and left, and right.
Seer has also, like, stood next to you for this, and she's also going like, do you understand what's happening?
No,
I am also confused. But
I have a hint. But
that creature
I'm
is
just-
curious.
great.
Of all the creatures I've had feelings of and tried to understand, this flying eye does not make sense to me. Because I feel greed, hatred, volatile. Like there's 7 or 8 different things all at once. And I don't understand.
Vidar's gonna barge back in and be like, Boris, it appears that you may be more insightful than me. He said that he will walk over here, but only if you will show it to him. You had implied that you had something of his, so it appears he does want to make the trade.
I know why he won't come over here. Do you know why he won't come over here?
I have no idea.
Your friend knows. You are familiar with us, are you not? He's looking at Sabas.
Sorry, I missed what he said.
He said that you're familiar with his kind. You understand. You understand why I can't go over there with his cat.
No, actually.
So when I look at you, I can see through your magic. Because it can't exist while I look at you. Whatever magic is holding the cat together. If I walk over there, it removes that magic and we push things forward on the timeline. So he wants me to walk over with my eye closed, with all of my eyes closed, and hand him his stupid collar. I will not do that.
God.
How about this? I give you the collar. Little blue man. You get my blood. If you fail, I disintegrate your friend. And he looks over at Sabas. Because as you can
Seems like a
see,
win-win.
as you can see, and he points, he literally,
This is going to punch Vidar.
because he points out that literally as you're looking at him, Sabas, you notice that all of his eye stalks are a different color than like his skin on the outside of the eyeball is one consistent color. And he has one one eye stalk that's the same color, but the others appear to be grafted on in a strange way. And Sabas understands what beholders are. So you realize, Sabas, that all of his eye stalks are disintegrators. All 8 of them.
Still punching him, by the way. Is that a strength save? Like, what's actually the roll for unarmed attack?
You're going to roll an unarmed attack to hit Vidar?
I'm punching Vidar.
Do it. Try. You can.
I don't remember what the roll was.
You should have an unarmed strike in your inventory.
No.
How do you not have an unarmed strike in your inventory? Everyone has an unarmed
Oh,
strike.
wait, there it is. Okay.
What's your AC, Vidar?
17.
Oh, okay. What's your strength modifier?
There you go.
What's your strength modifier? Oh, 3. Okay. So, Vidar, you take 3 damage as she punches you in the shoulder.
Savas then, after like letting out a heavy sigh, sort of moves closer to the beholder and then sits in a chair and goes, "Well, shit. This isn't really a fun situation. I will not move. I'd prefer if you don't disintegrate me, but I'm gonna put my hands in the life of Vidar at this point."
That is fair. You stay right there, and I'll be back. And he sort of floats off into the back room for a minute. Are you doing anything, Vidar, in the meantime? Or no?
Nope, just waiting for the collar.
Yeah, Savas is gonna just stare at Vidar and go, "Swear to God, I don't know what's happening, but if I ended up in nothingness, my ghost will be very angry at you. I will haunt you for the rest of your days. When your cup is near the edge of your table, I will push it off."
Vidar just goes, I don't drink often, so the risk I'm willing to take.
A few minutes later, he comes back, and he just looks at Vidar. I need you to open your hand. Blah. And a small black leather collar with the chaotic like gemstone attached to it lands in your hand.
Is this the one from the vision?
It is. Bring me my blood, and I won't disintegrate her.
Now, this man out there doesn't seem too trustworthy. How much blood should I be expecting? A large vial, small vial? I don't want him to come across as cheating you and me be punished for it.
A full vial. There
Full
should
large vial?
a full
small vial?
a full medium vial. He did not take a whole lot. He took enough. But it should be filled to the very top.
I will go speak with him and see what can be done.
Thank you. And he just squints out the window.
Savis is going to be very nervous and play with the dagger at her table. Because she has
And
nothing better to do.
as soon
and
as-
stress is getting to her.
As soon as Vidar walks out, the beholder literally turns to you and all of his eyeballs. He turns to you, but his main eyeball is watching Vidar, and all the other eye stalks are staring daggers into Sabis.
You can totally out stealth roll a beholder's perception, right?
Not when I'm already in vision.
Well, not with that edit. You can't.
Also, yeah, I have plus 15 to stealth. Can re-roll it like 3 times, but like, eh.
I mean, a beholder probably has like what plus 50 to perception or something dumb like that.
Plus
But yeah, anyway.
12?
I mean, you did it already. Like, you out-snuck him before.
Yeah, but
Yeah. So Savis is just going to look at one of the eyes and then look down and just start like the most like nervous fumbling you can imagine, like a 4-year-old, like I'm sorry, not a 14-year-old doing, like, right before a high school exam.
or
Like,
as
sorting her entire backpack, like.
or as you're waiting,
flipping her in a dagger.
you're waiting for parent-teacher conferences because you know you have bad grades.
That wasn't why I was worried about parent-teacher conferences. But that's another story.
But either way, Vidar, you walk over to the other side, and Gusha is waiting for you. So you have it.
Yes, he seemed to think that you were trying to get him to come out here and dispel Terry and speed things up. This seems kind of counter to what you were telling me that you wanted.
I just want... well, you have to realize that he cares deeply about this area. Beholders do not exhibit this sort of... how you say... empathy for other living creatures. They are normally isolationists and xenophobic, but he has made a bar and is quite prolific as well. So, he cares very deeply about these people. I do not. I lose nothing in this transaction. I might lose my life, but to prove a point, I believe it's worth it. Show it to me.
Do you still have the full blood vial?
It is full. I never got the chance to use it. But
I mean,
if I give this to you, I would need other blood in. I would need another creature's blood in order to dispel your whatever it is that you're doing.
does it need to be a beholder's blood again?
No, just any creature's blood. And I know that you don't have any.
Oh, there's plenty of people that live in the area. I'm sure that we can find someone when we get there.
No, it has to be a willing host in this case.
I'm sure we can convince somebody that it's in their best interest to be willing.
What about your snake friend?
I'm unsure,
Okay.
but I don't think that we will need the beholder's blood. The beholder was not willing anyway. Does that not cause issues if we were to try to use this instead?
In this case, it was not. It was not as unwilling as it was unknowing. As they say, ignorance is bliss. You can get around the rules of blood magic when it comes to, what doesn't know can't possibly hurt you.
Well, it seems like either way, I shall return the beholder's blood, and you can have your collar back. Vidar's going to hold on to the collar until he gets the vial.
Put your hand up to Terry.
Do I have to touch him again, or
No.
just near?
No, just near it. And the cat immediately starts gagging really hard. And you see every muscle tense in him. And the same vial that you, a technician, and your whole group had procured for him earlier was there. Full to the very top with the beholder blood.
But I was going to just say, there has to be a better way of transporting things. This seems like something that I would expect of technician.
Oh, there is a better way, but it can't be stolen if it's inside of him. And you'd have to kill the physical form of Derry to get the blood back. It's more of a precaution than it is anything else.
Biological creatures are weird. But I was going to hand the collar over. And then head
Thank
back
you.
into the bar.
Immediately, Gusha puts the collar onto Terry, and you can definitely tell a change in a change in the cat. You can definitely tell a change in demeanor.
And Vidar's going to walk back into the bar, holding the vial up, and loudly say to Boris, I believe this is a medium vial. Either way, it is definitely filled to the brim still. And hand it over to him.
Come pour it into
Or
my
do you-
mouth.
How
Ah.
did I know that was next? And Vidar pours it.
And you can tell he's like, oh. Thank you. Well, unfortunately, I got my blood back, but I lost the thing I wanted. So, would you like a drink? Unfortunately, I'm not willing to dispel because I wanted to keep the collar.
Savas is going to let out a very, very held up breath and then walk outside the bar. She is done with this place.
I assume that's a no.
I also don't drink. Although, why is the collar so important to you?
I
I
wanted
understand why it is important to Terry,
my blood back.
but you have implied that you wanted both. It seemed like it was more than just a leverage to get your blood.
What story did he tell you?
Based on what I saw, it seems like it was a sort of containment to keep Terry at bay.
Not just dairy. The gemstone contains an area known as the library. It also holds let's say, the only two-eyed version of my race, known as the Seeker of Knowledge. And being able to talk to said Seeker of Knowledge would have really paved the way for me to be more successful. There are many ways into the library, but unfortunately now I have to find a different way in.
Or perhaps you can get the collar back again. You've done it once already. Though not sure how you managed to pull that off in the first place.
Invisible stalkers are very expensive. Well,
If you
Either
can
way,
find
I'm
them.
not interested in the drink.
have a good day. And he just sort of goes and starts helping other customers as Sabas is having a moment of dry heaving and just adrenaline run down outside.
Yeah, she's sitting against the wall, head in her hands, like Jesus fucking Christ, Jesus fucking Christ, Jesus fucking Christ.
Seer is with you as Terry Gusha waves at you. Hello, Snake Lady. Come over here.
But Savas just like snaps back to alertness, stands up and walks over and goes, "No funny shit, or I'm leaving."
I need your blood to dispel your thing that you need. Not much. You just have to consent to me taking it.
You know what? Fuck it. Not the weirdest thing I'm gonna ask to do today. I assume not much.
No, but we have to be where I can do the ritual. So lead me to where we're going.
And while they're walking, Vidar is going to ask, are there any actual drawbacks to sacrificing blood for this? Why would anybody not be willing?
The problem with blood magic is that unwilling hosts have unforeseeable circumstances to the magic effects. For example, when I was young and learning this art, I attacked someone, and they were a vampire. So blood magic did work, but it turned them into a form of lich that haunted me until I was contracted to Terry. So, when you use blood magic on unwilling hosts, it can have an array of side effects that are never, ever beneficial.
But
So-
there are no side effects other than loss of blood
It's
to somebody willing.
you get tired. You get tired. You rest for an hour or two, and you feel better. The best part
What
about
our friend Burr here. He has plenty of blood. We found him sleeping. He loves resting.
I will absolutely not draw his blood.
Oh, what is wrong with his blood?
But did he not tell you the reason I don't interact with him? As you guys are like walking toward that ancient building, Burr is just sitting in front of it, just like cleaning under his fingernails and like fidgeting.
No, I believe he just said something like you give him the creeps, which is completely understandable.
I will give you that, actually, friend. Well, he is a celestial. So literally an angel in disguise. And his blood is toxic to my magic.
An angel localized entirely in this building.
Can I see
That's
it?
not, I
this
shouldn't say
time of
that. I
year.
shouldn't say at this time of year.
Well, let's say that the only reason that an angel exists on the material plane is because they were kicked out or they left. So, I would just be wary. But I cannot use his blood because it is toxic to my magic. It could potentially cut me off from it. So, hence I use Snake Lady.
I already said I was willing. At this point, it's like it's like the after effects of finishing like the most stressful final exam. You know, you're fucking tired already. You just want to be done.
Yep.
Savis is like just like stomping ahead. She's like going faster than everyone else back to this fucking building with like a very, very annoyed glower on her face. Just
And then Gusha is walking behind with like a cane because he's actually like fairly old. And eventually he gets into the building. He says, "Oh, this place is old. I wonder what you want in here. Oh, interesting. I assume, do you want the wall or do you want the focus dispelled? I could do one or the other."
We want whatever it takes to get to the other side of this wall.
So the focus. He looks at Sabas. He goes, "Okay." And he just literally points a finger at you, and you feel just. He says, "I need you to put your wrist or something out. I don't want to stain your drape."
yeah, Savis will hold out her left hand.
And he literally pulls his hand and grasps it, and blood erupts. Just little beads erupt from every pore in your hand, from under your scales, and sort of floats in the air. And he absorbs it into his palm, and then blows out this sort of red mist that covers this orb that was floating just above the doorway on the caved in side, and the orb just sort of falls and cracks, and it was like a crystal globe, essentially, a crystal ball that was the focus for this spell, and the black wall dissipates. And behind it, you can see just a mountain of bones where the wall used to be. Well, you have your wall of bones, I guess. Good luck on whatever it is you're trying to achieve. I hopefully will never see you again. And he pulls out, he touches his chest for a moment. A portal appears, and he and Terry walk through it. What are you guys doing?
Vidar is going to pull out the pinion again and stand on the bones.
You stand on the bones, and you look into the now bright area behind the wall, as there's like a large skylight that is illuminating this room. And directly in the middle of the room, there's a large carved stone circle that has a open 6-fingered hand carved into this large stone circle in the middle of the room. And as soon as you point the pinion in its general direction, it starts heating up and rapidly sort of going crazy in your hand. This peanut gallery is annoying.
You knew
Is
the
the,
risks. You knew this.
I
Was gonna
did. I did
happen.
know
You
it was
said-
going to
You said
happen.
you two are on break for the rest of this episode. I said, excellent. I know how to entertain myself doing this. You thought we were just going to be doodling on the map, but no.
That's what I expected, actually.
There has been doodling on the map.
Oh no, I've seen it. It's just not in view of the thing.
That's where you're supposed to do it, though.
Yeah, I agree. I appreciate that.
Does the 6-fingered hand look like it is a thing where you put your hand on it and it triggers something, or is it just kind of like a indicator that, okay, there's something here?
It appears to just be an indicator.
Does this look familiar to anyone? And Vidar's gonna walk up to it and put his hand on it.
As soon as you walk up and put your hand on it, the watery sheen appears over the entire sigil. And Sabas, you can see it as well, and Seer just looks at you and goes, I feel like we should go in there. Is this feeling correct?
I would assume so.
Your intuition is never wrong, and that seems to be what we have learned so far. Vidar's going to motion for Seer to go in first.
Okay. I assume all the two of you are also going to follow?
Yeah.
Okay. All three of you enter the watery sheen, and you just sort of fall down, and you're like falling for a second, and then boom, you land again in like a very thin pool of water over a vast amount of area. Directly in front of you, there's a man with a long beard, a very loosely tied man bun, sitting on a recliner chair with a tall glass in his hand and a smoking pipe in the other. Hey.
And Vidar is just going to motion towards Seer again.
He does a beckoning motion to her, and she walks over, and he touches her forehead, and she goes into the lights coming out of her eyes, and for a little while she's just sort of sitting there. It's gonna take a while for her to you already know. How are you doing?
We're doing well now that we're here. And yourself?
I'm good. What's the state of the world then?
It's seen better days. And down here?
It is what it is. I've
Also,
always
question for you.
okay.
You appear to be the friend.
I am. That's
as you've
what they
been
call
referred
me.
to.
Yeah.
You seem to be the only Soulforger that is not a part of the family. there's mothers and brothers and fathers and sisters, and you're just merely a friend.
I'm not merely a friend. I'm the only friend. That's what I've been called forever. So, you have to remember that some of us were created from just life. Some of us were created from magic. And it's like, whenever you're baking something, right? If you don't fully measure out each of your ingredients, you're going to have stuff that's left over. I'm one of those things. So, when it comes to that, I've always chosen my own visage to be something that's just here. They referred to me as friend for a long, long time because I wasn't in the family. But we were still a group that was meant to be together. And then Void came through, and here I am. The loneliest of all of them. Because at least if these pinions were able to be removed, then we could at least have something. But I will always just be that leftover guy. So I always just hang out and don't really go out of my way for stuff. Especially after seeing the place that I initially created turn into the despicable cesspool it is now. I don't really care. I just sort of am here. I created a Soulforged because it felt like the time was right. Here she is.
Seems that it is the right time.
Have you found all of them?
With Sierra here, yes.
Good. Have they all been awakened?
And with Sierra here, yes.
Have you found where he's hiding?
We have been told and have Vidar is going to pull out the compass, and we've been told of a location and also have been pointed in the same direction.
So you know where to go.
We believe so, unless you have something that we might not know.
What's that you have on you? What is that? He's pointing at he's like pointing in like, because I assume that you have like a load of pouches that you put all your equipment in, right? Or do you just have a singular backpack?
Load of pouches.
He's
Hat and utility
he's
vest.
pointing directly at the pouch that has the yeet stone in it.
But I take it as like this is how we get home and how we got here in the first place.
How does it work?
Throw it and think of where we need to go. Take us back only to places that we've been before.
Oh, places you've been before. Do you want to go there?
How much risk would that put us in?
They won't know that you're there. There's a benefit to me helping you in this manner. Okay? So you have to remember, I'm the friend. I am not necessarily the person that they remembered being the first thing, and there's like a sort of strange... When you leave here, you're going to have a strange feeling that you met someone that you will remember for the rest of your life, but you won't remember who I am. Mortals have a tendency to see me and then not remember exactly what they saw. They'll remember a warm feeling. They'll remember like a moment in their mind where they had a feeling where they felt safe. That's what you get from every Soul Forger. But in this specific case, you won't remember me. You won't remember what I look like. You'll remember a feeling. But what that means is that if you and I go, technically it won't be me, but it's a fragment of me. I can take you there. I can't physically leave here, but I can project us both over there. So technically speaking, according to the laws of magic and the way that stone works, you'll have been there.
If that's possible with no risk and we have nothing else to do while we wait.
Well, there's inherent
Seems
risk
like
to everything, but the likelihood we'll be detected is very little because we'll only be there in the perceptions that we're going to leave. We'll only have been there for less than a second. So whatever magic they have going will barely detect us, if at all. There's always inherent risk. There could be landmines. It could be trapped. It just depends on if you want to do it.
Well, we will likely deal with those risks when we go there later, wouldn't we? We inevitably have to go there eventually.
And I'm sure getting your forces there will be easier if you're there already, right?
Yes, I'm sure that if their defenses are facing inwards, our forces can get there easy.
I could get you to, like, the beach or something, but I can't really get you inside. Void has always had this overprotective sort of idealist mentality that I can't... He just can't get over it. Because technically speaking, he's the best form of all of us. He's more powerful. He just exists as a, like, he doesn't have any weaknesses in the same way that we do. So it is what it is. Do you want to go?
Absolutely.
What
Can
a-
you take more than one of us at once, or
I can if you'd like. What do you
Put our
what
turn to Sabbath?
what say you?
I don't want to go.
Okay. And he sort of points at the ground, and Ace, because this guy is massive, like he's in the distance, but you could definitely, he sounds like he's right next to you. And another form, a small form of him, walks up to you guys, and he says, "All right, take my hands." Do you take his hand, Sabas?
Yeah.
You're pulled to this island, far to the northeast, that you recognize from like your sort of visions, but it usually had like this black blurry outline of like a void area. You walk up to it, and you're finally landed. You land on this beach, and for just a moment, the picture that you see is a giant white marble wall surrounded by a black sand beach all the way around. And this is housed on a cliff face that's made of this pure white alabaster stone that has like gold veins running through the whole thing. And just less than a second later, you're pulled back. All right, she's ready. So now, at this point, I want to say that the rest is up to you. Because if you successfully defeat and destroy the Void Soulforged, you break the cycle. And if you break the cycle, the world can progress past this dark age that we've been kept in perpetually for the last 3,000, 4,000 years. Even longer than that, because I remember when you were built.
indeed you do.
So
If we defeat the Void Soulforged, I assume the Soulforged is awakened.
he's awakened already. Void creates him actively. The reason I can't
Indeed.
activate mine right away is because no one comes down here. They physically can't access it without you. So it's impossible for me to just make someone and then have them awakened. Void has full access to every person ever.
Indeed, but if they are awakened, when they die, they ascend to godhood, do they not?
We don't know. It's never happened. I would assume that something catastrophic would happen because you have to think about the amount of potential energy she would have had before I awakened her, right? Sort of like walking around with a very volatile material that if you shake it real hard, it explodes, right? Well, if you can open that container and then let all those fumes out before it explodes, that sort of mitigates that risk. Well, I've opened the container so that all that power can be released. But if she died beforehand, it would have been... I don't know. I don't know how it would release that energy, what form it would come in. But I'm fairly certain that you've saved us from catastrophe, because that also would have prevented you from having one extremely powerful being on your side as well. So...
When Void Soulforged dies, what happens then?
he will ascend to godhood by default. And Void will have lost his active power in the world. Because the reason our first Soulforged died is because Void killed them with his bare hands. He turned them into the pinions and locked us to the world how we are. When we created the next generation of Soulforged, we sort of have to sacrifice a certain amount of our own power, albeit minuscule, to create these Soulforged and then have an adventuring party like you awaken them. And we did that, but we didn't know that Void had made his own Soulforged, which was technically a first generation. So his chosen was way more powerful than our children. Moonball killed everybody without even blinking an eye, and then Void ordered him to end himself, and here's where we are. Because it would be more beneficial to have him as a god and able to get forces in the world by worshippers and all sorts of power and distribute that power, and then having his champion alive lets him have an active thing in the world. Well, if you can kill the current Void Soulforged, that will remove that power, and then our balance of our side of power will remain steady and able to keep the world in balance. Because as far as I'm aware, Void, it might be the rule that Void can't make another Soulforged until we do. And now that she's awakened, she's immortal. She can't die of old age, and she might be able to die, but it's like if the Soulforged exist, as long as one exists, the rules of the world indicate that Void can't win anymore. Because he can't kill us. He won't be able to kill our Soulforged. Because he's already sacrificed most of his power to create this current Void Soulforged. If anything, he'll have to wait thousands of years to do it again. Like we do. We have to wait for our reserves to charge, and then we make a new generation. But so will he. If anything, you'll give this world a consistent source of information, and it can't be taken away by Void. That's as far as I know. I mean, I am technically the forgotten one, or like the little like sort of bastard child of this world, but no one's ever really asked me my perspective, so I appreciate that. But I think it's time for you to go. Good luck.
Thank you.
And he sort of waves, and the portal appears, and you guys are sucked back onto that stone floor with Sior. And she just looks at you and says, "Thank you." So I guess we wait 3 days?
Indeed, this place seems pretty nondescript. We probably can stay here safely.
All right.
Is
Sounds...
Burr still in the area?
Yeah, he's literally like waiting, like looking at all the bones and like just investigating stuff.
And Vidar is going to give Burr another 5 gold. Things turned out in our favor, so
Thank you very much. I'm glad I could be of service. Good luck with everything.
do you mind if we stay here for a few days? Our
Oh, no.
transportation is unavailable immediately.
No, if you want to use the chamber right over here, I usually keep it hidden. And he walks over to like the very front entrance, and he like waves his hand, and an illusory wall dissipates. I keep this one hidden so that I can hide from the locals, because they don't really appreciate me sometimes. So go ahead, I'll keep watch. And he sort of lays back down in the corner. You guys head in?
Yeah.
But I was gonna obviously not go that far and hang out near the doorway.
Yep.
As one does.
Yep. Sior and Sabas head in, and you stick by the doorway, and he just smiles as the door sort of reappears. But you guys can tell it's like an illusory wall from the inside, but but from the outside, it's just a normal wall, and he lays back down in his corner and goes back to sleep. And that's where we're going to leave this episode of Soulforged. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I want to let you know I'm writing a world book. And if you're curious to see a little bit of it, or if you want to read some of it and give me some feedback, let me know in the Discord. And hopefully we'll see you next week. We'll try. If not, we'll figure it out. We've solved half of this episode. We have to finish the other half next week, but we will see you then. Everyone have a great week. Stay safe, do the right thing, and we'll see you hopefully next week. Bye!
Bye.